We will start Ayodhya Kanda Part 1 Ram Exile. Years rolled over. For the next 12 years, Ram lived happily in Ayodhya. Unlike the other princes of his age and status, Ram was very friendly with the people there and helped them in their dire straits. They impressed them and won a place for Ram in their heart. Thus Ram became the pulse of the citizens. On hearing the king, Dasharatha felt very glad. At the same time, he was getting aged too, so he decided to make Ram the king of Ayodhya. He called for a meeting with his ministers and sought their opinion. They all welcomed his decision, saying that Ram is right choice to rule Ayodhya. Pleased with his move, kind Dasharatha had ordered to make arrangement for the coronation. Meanwhile, the entire scenario was haunted by an evil story. If there was one who hated Ram ascending the throne as the next king, it was an aged woman by name Mantra, the servant maid of Queen Kaikeyi. She went to Kaikeyi and grumbled about it. Why the king did not even consider your son, Bharat? In what way Bharat is inferior to Ram? Did the king speak to you about it? She shot a stream of question. Look, went on the good-natured Kaikeyi, Ram is the like my own son. In fact, he loves the more than love his mother. Kausalya, do you know that? So I too welcome the move of making calm Ram as the next king. Do you know, countered Mantra, the problem with is you do not realize the consequences. Just imagine what would happen in the long run if Ram become the king. Kausalya will take the upper hand. You and Bharat would be sidelined. There no one will never respect you both. What are you trying to communicate? Snapped Kaikeyi. This is it, went on Mantra. Remember some years ago when you drove the chariot for the king in the battleground? He was badly injured. At the time, keeping your own dear life at stake, you had saved him. Pleased with you, he had granted to boon to you, and you were very magnanimous that you did not to ask for anything, but told him you would ask at the right time. Remember? Yes, I remember that, nodded Kaikeyi. Good, this is the right moment to remind him about it. Ask for the two boons had promised. The first one is to demand Bharat coronation as the king of Ayodhya. The second one is that Ram should be expelled for 14 years. Oh God, how can I utter those words? Kaikeyi shouldered with the thought, it is for our all welfare of you, Bharat. God and speak to the king right now, or else you too will have to face the disagree forever. Once Ram is crowned, I won't stay here. I will walk out because I cannot fancy any insult from Kausalya and the others. Uttering these words, Mantra left, leaving Kaikeyi in turmoil. Kaikeyi weighed her words. The more she shouted, the more it appeared to be genuine, even if not herself. She had to talk to the king for the sake of her dear son, and at the time Bharat and his brother Shatrughna had gone out and to their maternal grandfather's place, or otherwise they would have stopped their mother Kaikeyi for demanding her boons. King Dasharatha happens did not have long life. He was very overseeing the preparation for the coronation. When Kaikeyi stormed in, one took at her face, narrated Dasharatha that something was cooking. He took her aside and listened to her demand. Kaikeyi regarded him for some time before she started muttering, "Do you remember you once promised to grant two boons to me? How can I forget that? It always stands good. You can ask something as you wish," replied Dasharatha. Kaikeyi then told him what Mantra had told her. She demanded Bharat coronation and Ram exilement. On hearing this, Dasharatha stood staring at her like a statue. He could not believe if his hearing was intact. In fact, then when Kaikeyi repeated her demands, Dasharatha had spun. He clutched his head and slumped into hair. Moment later, he braced himself and pleaded to Kaikeyi to skip these two demands and ask anything else. But the adamant Kaikeyi was very stubborn, sticking to her demands. Dasharatha passed out, for he could not even think when a mental torture would be without the presence of Ram whom he loved most. Thus the night passed off. The next morning, when Dasharatha told his ministers about it, they all reared back in anger and disappointment. The news spread fast and the entire country. Kosala was thrown into the chohas. Meanwhile, Ram was summoned when he saw his father's sadness, healing face. Kaikeyi and others, who were simply staring at him without a word, he understood that something was serious. However, he could not help wondering if he had committed anything wrong. He went to Kaikeyi and accosted, "Mother, if is father angry with me?" But Kaikeyi could not face him. One of his ministers took Ram aside and told him about everything. Ram listened to it with a smile, and he remained really cool and calm. As usual, then he himself voluntarily spoke up, saying that a son, it was duty to carry out the orders of the mother. Ram told to bring Bharat and crown him as the king. Bharat and I are brothers. Let him be made the king, and I will leave the forest today itself. By saying, he bowed to his parent and left. Meanwhile, Lakshman, who came to know about it, recoiled in fright. Taking his arrow, he dashed into his father, but Ram stopped him. In that case, I don't have the heart to send you separately. Let me accompany you, he insisted. Similarly, Sita and cried that he could not spend even a day without Ram. Arrangements were made. The same evening, Ram, accompanied by Sita and Lakshman, wore saffron-colored dresses like saints and set off to the forest in chariot. The chariot was followed by thousands of people. En route, they reached the bank of the river Tamasa. There they all halted for the night. The people rested there. Early in the next morning, Ram, Sita and Lakshman got up before the others went away, driven fast. Because Ram did not want others to suffer by following them, He was such kind of matured gentleman.